you have a change of heart, wanna make a brand new start. You've been living on the edge with forever as a pledge. No more giving it up, turning me loose, setting us free. Baby, keeping it real, cause we got what takes for sure. There's no turning back anymore. Can you see it's all a game? Life goes on all the same. If at first you don't succeed, all you've got is all you need. If you believe, then stake your claim.
Hey, Rise and Thrivers, as my sister is bopping into our brand new, awesome song that introduces Rise. Yes, that introduces us as Rise and Thrive Together. Welcome to Monday night, June 9th. It is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and welcome to the Rise and Thrive Together live webcast talk show. So let us tell you, just in case you are new or you need a reminder, we are Rise and Thrive Together, a vibrant community committed to educating, empowering, and equipping you to get the results that you want through real talk, taking those real actions to have the results you want right now. Super excited to have this topic. Super excited to have my sister from another mister, my co-host, my dear friend, Raquel. What's up, Raquel?
Hey, it's so good to be here this week. Last week was what it was.
Yep.
And here, so I want to say shout out my brother. Thank you for telling me the appropriate browser to use. How are you?
Yes, I am excited. I mean, really good. Definitely feeling ready for this conversation tonight, ready for a guest. This topic has been something that I think you and I have committed to talk about for ready. Dun, 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 dun. We don't have our special effects people. So here we go. Episode 110. Woohoo! 110 in a row. And we are talking about leading out loud with a very special guest, Kiran Ryan-Young. But before we go there, before we even get into leading out loud and kind of recapping next week and bringing Kiran in, I know, Raquel, you and I are deeply moved and inspired and have made I know our lives have changed with being leading out loud. And we know one person that really made that difference for our life. So I'm going to have you take it over for here while I throw up some beautiful picture.
The past in about a week and a half, we lost a dear friend, Mr. Howard Brown. Shining brightly is the platform. We have been on he went home, he got his wings. And Howard was just an incredible soul. So kind, so giving. He'll be missed. He absolutely will be. Incredible person. I mean, just to know him was an honor. And we were on his podcast, Shining Brightly, and he's been here on Rise and Thrive Together, definitely a friend to the show, as well as a staple on the Laws of Life with Blanca. Howard, you already know we love you. We made sure you knew that while you were here to hear it. And you will be missed, but it was such a pleasure and an honor to be in your presence and to know you. So we love you.
So awesome. So awesome. Thank you for doing that. On speaking on behalf of myself, and I'm clear everybody who knows him. It is going back to, you want to talk about the leader of leading out loud? That is Howard Brown. And he is committed, right? He is that person. And so he is eternally shining brightly. And we just thank him, and we'll continue to literally pass on exactly everything he's taught us and what we've brought to him. And that just gets us ready for this extraordinary next guest because I know he's waiting back there and chilling out for a little bit. So here we go. Ready? Check this out. This is Kiran Ryan-Young, who is a transformational coach, an international speaker, and the founder of A Million Dreamers, a movement helping entrepreneurs, creatives, and change makers reclaim and realize their boldest visions. A lifelong dreamer, Karan began his career as an actor in New York City, but found his deeper purpose in helping others pursue the dreams they've been told were impossible. With over 30 years of experience in arts, education, and entrepreneurship, Karan brings a rare blend of creativity and operational clarity to everything he does. Through his work as a functional COO and a co founder of Synergy Squared, he's helped leaders and business owners align their vision with their real world systems to drive sustainable impact. Whether building a visionary founder, supporting a nonprofit leader, or simply listening to someone's dream for the first time, Quran's mission remains the same: to help others dream more boldly and act more bravely. He's currently on a mission to collect and activate 1 million dreams around the world, starting with yours. And welcome, Karan Ryan-Young. Hey.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hello,
Listen
hello.
to that. Hello.
Go ahead, speak on.
Making sure I was not muted. No, I was sitting back here listening to that going, who is that guy? Oh yeah.
Who's that guy? It's me. That's who we're talking about. Yeah, I was super stoked to get your bio, right? Because it's an opportunity for me to see you in the light that I get to play with you within, right? This beautiful million dreamers. We're gonna get into that, and absolutely the perfect person to start out as a special guest this month when we're talking leading out loud. So for all those guests that are here, the participants that are watching, your viewers, your replayers, I'm blessed to not just share his, amazing bio, but to call him a friend, to call him a mentor. He has been my coach, and we are together leaders in our visions, in her adventures. So I'm stoked to have you here. What a great conversation. Just love it. Activating 1 million dreams. That is a bold, 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 bold result that I can't wait to see it, be fulfilled. And I'm clear in your lifetime, the way you are and the way we are, we'll at least get almost there and maybe even there.
It'll get there and beyond because it's not just about us.
That's right.
Everybody does their share. So yeah.
Absolutely.
So, A Million Dreamers, how did you reach that name? It's very powerful. It is very telling of who you want. Make such a bold statement. I absolutely love it. I just behind the title.
The inspiration was the movie The Greatest Showman. And in the movie, there's a song called A Million Dreams, which initially, I don't know if you know the story, The Greatest Showman is about P.T. Barnum, who was a bit of we'll just call him a dreamer. And this particular song is sung by him as a child. And it's about all of the dreams that he has, how they come to him. And no matter what anybody says, he's going to go ahead with his dreams. They can call him crazy, doesn't care. First time I heard that song, it just hit me. And then I would hear other people doing it. And I saw, I believe it was a Britain's Got Talent. There was a young boy who came on with a group of his friends and family, and they sung this song. And he had just, even talking about this when I get worked up, he had just, I believe he'd just gone through chemo and he had just finished. And just the way the people gathered around him singing and how he presented himself and literally created this dream. It, but it's all of these things happening, like, yeah, okay, this is it. If this is the power of just from this song, what's gonna happen when it really gets out there? And I'm knocking on people's doors saying, hey, what's your dream? No, really, what's your dream?
Mm.
And that's how it started.
Wow.
And it's been growing from there. So you never know what's gonna
Wow.
happen.
So you said something really interesting.
It's okay. We got a lag. Go for it.
You said something interesting. You said it's about going around knocking on people's doors and asking them, what's your dream? And then you said, no, really, what's your dream? And to me, what that felt like was people, when you first ask the question, people are just giving you, for lack of a better term, lip service.
Mhm.
And then when you say, no, really, what's your dream? That's forcing them now to think and confront is not the right word, but actually admit what their real dream is. Because the first answer they give is just not it. And then you say, no, really, that's so authentic and makes you want to dive deeper into sharing what is your real true dream. So that's amazing. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. It's really about giving people permission.
Mm,
I think we live in a world where someone says, what's your dream? And you tell them, and it's like, oh, that's nice. Right? If they don't believe it, they don't feel it. It's just like, it's not going to happen. It's just a fantasy. Or as I was just watching
mm,
Pinocchio this week, and Jiminy Cricket, when he hears about Pinocchio's dream of becoming a real boy, says, oh, that's nice, but it won't happen. And this is supposed to
mm,
be his conscience. I don't, those aren't the exact words. Like, that's lovely. I don't know. But, that's the way people react when someone says, what's your dream? You're going to give them something, but it's not real.
mm,
And when they have permission, which it's not me giving them permission, it's really you giving yourself the permission to really say, this is it. This is really what I want. It's ridiculous, doesn't matter. This is what I want. And if the world could all live like that, if everyone had the power, felt the power to say, this is what I want, this is who I am, this is mine, just imagine what the world would be like. Right? So when we're
wow.
sitting in a place that we're not really feeling it completely, that's the time to dream, not the time to not dream.
I love it. I
That's
love it. You
interesting.
got some.
So dream when I'm not feeling it.
When you feel, so there's like that feeling of waiting for the right time. The
Hmm.
right time is wherever you are, right? If you look at someone like Dr. Martin Luther King and his big I Have a Dream speech, well, that really wasn't the time to be having that kind of dream, right? There was no support. There was nobody
Right.
saying, yes, let's do this. He said, this is it. This is the time, and I am here to tell you what it is. Right. So that's what I mean. Like, when you feel like you have absolutely no power, that's the time to reconnect to that dream. And everybody has one. You may have pushed it
Mm,
back. It may be hiding and simmering somewhere, but it hasn't gone away. It's not going away. Dreams are different than ideas,
Hmm.
right? So I'm blanking on names. Eat, Love, Pray, the author, I believe she was the one that said, if you have an idea, you have to act on it or it's going to go somewhere else and it's going to happen. Dreams aren't like that.
Mm.
Your dream stays with you. Now, it may not be something you think about every day. You may have thought about it when when you were a kid, you had this great big dream and you haven't thought about that in years, but it's still there. And it's going to keep whispering every once in a while. And when you're ready to act on it, when you say, yes, now is the time, it is ready. And it will pop right back up saying, let's go.
I love that. I love that concept of the difference between an idea, right? The idea versus the dream. Because many people tend to speak more about their ideas, right? I hear it going around like, oh, I have this idea, and it's like something they'll just say. And then you're right, that one person who like is like, ooh, we'll just go grab it and go act on it. I've been part of Karan's amazing, dreamers conversation. He has these like once a month opportunities for people to come together. He'll share later. And that's something where, we talk about, we have Johnny Regan who's asking the audience and asking you, like, what's your dream? Right? What is that dream? And I tend to stop, and you can hear people, like you said, just say the nice thing or say the thing that it's like in their head, they're like, well, it's never going to happen anyway, so no one's going to steal it. Right? Because it's mine. It's like, oh, I wanted to be a Rockette. That was like a dream.
Mm-hmm.
But if I say I want to be a Rockette and I say that to someone, they're like, that's sweet. And who else is really going to go and take it? I'm 57, right? And be like, it's hers. But if I had an idea, right? Idea, and saying, hey, I'm going to go now make this so-and-so, that can be, like you said, kind of taken differently. So I love that. And we've got, some people, asking you, like, Susan asks you, Karan, are you collecting dreams or are you forwarding them somehow?
So when I say I'm on a mission to collect a million dreams, it's really to hear a million dreams, to give people an opportunity to tell me what it is they want to do and to reconnect to their dream. So what I believe and what I have seen is when that happens, those dreams become a reality. When that person is able to truly say, this is it becomes a reality. So it's not about collecting them and putting them in a box and they look pretty. It's really about getting people to reconnect to them. And then if I showcase them, like in some of my workshops, I have a quilt somewhere where everyone wrote down their dream, right? And then we put it together and create this quilt. So when I display this quilt, it then inspires other people to dream because they see something on there that's like, oh yeah, that's kind of like this, which is what I want, right? And then it builds that way. So Regina, when we started and you were talking about, we'll get to 1 million, that's how we make that happen. And that's how this gets, I've done this workshop with people from around the world and hear from them, and they go back home and share it with it's just
a ripple effect.
Be there.
So, Karan, where's this quilt and how big is it?
I love it.
So it travels with me. It's not huge because I can't pack it and take it. So I've done this, that particular quilt I did the first time I spoke about this in Costa Rica. And then I went back last year and took it with me, put it in the center of the circle, and people just added to it. It's the idea is to continue to create these different works of art that can be displayed. And at some point, you know, as I'm creating these bigger events and possibilities to just be able to display it.
The reason I was asking is because I wanted to know how big I can write my dream on this quilt. That's why I wanted to know where is it and how big is
So
it?
for that, it was like a 12 by 10 square.
Okay.
And write in there, decorate it. Yeah, sometimes I do it on ribbons. You write it down on a ribbon and, you know, making that into a piece of art. I'm coming up with ways until I find the one that really feels right and feels easy to replicate and pour it around with me.
Right.
Mm.
That's so
I love the
amazing that
quilt.
you're actually coming face to face with it, right?
Yep.
Hmm.
And then the year later, some people were like, oh, that's my handwriting. Did I say that? I did. What happened? You know, it's that same thing. It reconnects them to their dream because it doesn't go away.
Mm.
And if you tell me you have a dream and I see you in 20 years, I will remind you. I will know what that dream was and I will remind you about it.
Wow.
It's one of his special gifts. One of his special gifts we call Kiran in our group. He is the head of accountability. He will hold you accountable. And just when you think you're kind of, like having a conversation with them, and it could be just small chat, all of a sudden it'll be like, very much like you, Raquel. You know, you tell them something, they're like, hey, yes, you. But he is wonderful at that. So everybody, if you're interested and, having your dream be held and be accountable for that, as simple as speaking it out loud, like boldly speak it out loud. And the fact is, you want to be held accountable for it, as simple as, hey, having that reminder, you can reach out to Karan as I put his email out here.
Yeah.
You know, I'll just put it on there. And it's beautiful because, I've shared, like I said, the Raquette thing. There's the layers to it, right? How tall you need to be, so on and so forth. And dreams, what I love about dreams, like, guys, if we're going to get into dreaming, dreaming, if you're having a dream, a real dream, it like kind of shapes and goes certain ways. So it's not a linear thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. He's helped me, realize that although I'm not a rockette and I'm at that point in stage in my age and I'm not a rockette, I'm doing the thing that I truly love. It's not the rockette piece of it, but I get to be with people and perform. And the performing is being with a group of people that helps others feel great, right? And feel good about themselves. It's that joy and collaboration. Like when you see your favorite play, when you see, your favorite bands, whatever that is, so I'm not sitting on the sidelines talking about wanting to be a rockette. Like I really was like, oh my goodness, I really fulfilled on that in another way. Like in another way that's being fulfilled. And what can I continue in that dream, right? To continue, to build. And that's something I didn't really know until I had conversations with him and others in the group. So I just wanted to acknowledge you about that out there.
Thank you. I have my daughter was in a dance class. It was a tap class, and her teacher, it was a recital day, and her teacher was telling the story. She wanted to be a rockette. You could tell as this woman was telling the story,
No.
she really wanted to be a rockette. And she was going through the process, and she's like getting really worked up. It's like, but the first thing they do, because she was a good dancer, the first thing they do is they put this rope up and they line you up at the rope. And if you don't hit the rope, you're out. And she didn't hit the rope. And so there
Wow.
was no possibility of her being a rockette, but she was going to teach these young people to be able to go to that audition and be a rockette. Right. So that's kind of how it works. A dream can't fail.
Ooh.
I like that.
Can you say
Yeah,
that
right.
again?
I was like, I'm writing that out. Go on.
A dream can't fail. If you're
What do you
so
mean?
you're going for it, right? You're this is where the becoming discussion. You're becoming the person that dream is. And along the way, something else can come in, right? And it's like, oh, but you're still
Mm-hmm.
that dream. And now there's a new one that has grown out of it. So the first one can't fail. It's still there, right? Like I said earlier, once your dream's not going away. You can, as Regina was saying, she wanted to be a rockette. Great, that doesn't go away, right? But it's not. It doesn't go away. That dream still exists. Let's put it that way. And now there are all of these other ones that have grown out of it that are fulfilling the person who became the dream of someone becoming a rockette.
Ooh, it's like an essence, right? It's like an essence, right? Like so all of that to become a rocket or whatever that dream is for you guys, there is a whole world around that, a whole world, a way of being, right? So like your daughter, that's perfect, right? So Susan's got it. Like Susan just came in and said, the dream, like sleeping dreams, is a container for possibilities and a self-expression labeled dream, right? Labeled dream. So your daughter didn't become the rocket. Bless you. Word of the truth. Didn't become the rocket. And that failure of not like becoming the rocket because she didn't kick the rope didn't stop her in that dream. Who she is, right? Who she is I'm now going to teach others who want to fulfill on that dream. And what I learned for myself inside of not making it, I'm going to support others and teach them and educate them and give them the things that maybe she didn't know, right? Those blind spots, and be able to say, great, okay, so you fulfill on this height, this thing. Well, here's the piece, and we're going to work on that. So she does fulfill on becoming a rocket by helping others to become a rocket.
Right. And it also works the other way. You can achieve a dream, which then becomes a new dream.
Ooh.
Like for me, the dream that I think started all this is I wanted to be a parent. And being a gay man in the 80s, late 80s, 90s, single, that was like, try telling somebody that and see what happens, right? They're just going to laugh in your face. But that was my dream. And for a few years, it got pushed back and disappeared. And I went on and did other things and moved to New York, became a working actor in New York. And then one day it came back. It's like, oh, yeah, I wanted to be a parent. What about that? And when that happened, and there's a whole story about how all that happened, and you can read it in my upcoming book. My daughter is now 19. She's just completed her first year of college about a month ago. What the parent thing is over, right? Now what? So you get to that when you achieve the dream, it becomes that, oh, well, now what? And then it's about going back to those other ones that have been simmering back there and making space for them to come back up and say, well, here, right? Here's the dream. And then you get to go through the whole thing again.
I love it.
So it's
tell us
almost
a little
like
bit
we're
about the book.
building on our dream.
Yes.
So it's almost like we're building on it and is us finding our voice. voice?
It's listening to the voice. It's listening to your voice, right? Because you have your voice. It's I think a lot of times we talk about finding our voice. It's finding our voice to connect to others. But sometimes we don't listen to ourselves, right? So that's the first part, is listening and hearing your own voice yourself and going, yes, that's it. Right? It's because sometimes there's times when you hear it and you go, oh, hush. Yeah, not right now. I'm busy. Right? It's like, and your dream, if you say, hush right now, I'm busy, it will listen to you. It will listen to you and it will go rest until you're ready to hear it, until you give it the permission to speak to you.
Wow. Wow. So I have a question. How do you connect? So our topic this month is lead out loud. How would someone who is a part of a million dreamers lead out loud, whether leading themselves, like this teacher this woman who wanted to be a Rockette, and by teaching others how to? She's still living her dream. And I think I might have just made the connection for you, but I want to hear your voice.
Yeah. So I would just add to that, leading out loud with your dreams or by your dream, right? For me, just sharing my dreams, Regina just sharing her dreams, Raquel, you just sharing your dreams with someone, you've changed their life. You're leading,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's how I do it. And, I've had the first time I really had this experience was in Costa Rica when I realized, oh my, this is real. Is I'd finished my workshop, like the first day of the event, and it was a series of speakers, for the 3 days. And every other session I was in, whenever anyone said the word dream or talked about dreaming, they looked at me. All week this happened. And that's when I knew, you know, leading out, I didn't do anything except be. And just from being and sharing that, that's how I, became a leader of the weekend. And that's an amazing feeling. And for me, I had a conversation with someone today, and she was saying, this was a person who, I'm not going to get into her whole story, but she said, because I basically was talking about my dreams at this event, just having a conversation with her, it opened up her to dream. And now she's starting to do what she really wants to do and has changed her business and has announced, this is what I'm doing, is going after it. So for me, that's how I know this is working.
Yeah.
So what I would say to anyone about leading out loud, it's be authentic, be open, share, and just be. And people will connect, people will be inspired and motivated. And that's the leading.
Wow.
That totally gets to what we were talking about, right? Which is,
That was awesome.
yeah, it is. We last week ended it with, One, connect, right? Connect, like you were saying, connect to that quiet whisper that's inside of you, that dream. Connect to it. Make sure it's authentic, it's yours, not somebody else's, what somebody else says you should be, what would be good for you. That one, the one that also says, nah, it's never going to happen, is the one. The one that says, no, it's too late, that's the one. So, one, connect to that for yourself. Then, once you connect to it, start speaking out loud, like Raquel does often before she works on anything and goes and leads to others. She speaks out loud to herself. It's a great, I take on that a lot now, all the way every time I'm driving to class, leading out loud to my authentic, what's happening inside, and then speak out to others,
Mhm.
others in rooms that, you've been asked to speak in, ones that you can trust. That's the piece that we talked about a little bit last week. And go and be bold and be afraid and go speak it anyway. Because once you're really connected to it, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, no one's going to take it away. It's yours, right?
Yeah.
It's yours. So thank you for that. Thanks this
Absolutely.
week, man. We could spend hours on this, right? Like we could spend hours
This
on this one.
was absolutely amazing. And the one thing that I want to leave our audience with from Quran is a dream can't fail.
Oof.
Period. I mean, there are times where I feel like it, but that really hit home for me. And we'd like to know
Yes.
who that hit home for. That a dream can't fail. Knowing that is so empowering. It is absolutely insane right now. If I could just get up, knock everything over that's in front of me, and just run around screaming and yelling that a dream can't fail, I would absolutely do it. So thank you so much for joining us. It is truly an honor. Regina talks about you so much. To finally put a face to the name and the powerful message that you shared here tonight. So we truly just thank you so very much.
Oh, I think she's freezing. She's freezing right at the end.
Ladies and gentlemen, remember, a dream can't fail. Also remember, you guys, and thrive. Till next time.
Ciao.